Hello.
And following
Shalom.
on the previous item in this conference, can you tell us how Germany supports the families of hostages and victims of Hamas' October 7th attack? Can Germany help get them released?
We certainly try. I never have the feeling that we're doing enough. We try to do everything. We speak to everyone who might have access to Hamas, channels into Hamas. We do not directly speak with Hamas ourselves, but we speak to everyone who does. And we've done this for the past 8 months. So this is one thing we do. The other thing that we do, and this we can do, is try to be there for the hostage families in all their possible needs. Sometimes they have bureaucratic needs. Sometimes they need just someone to talk to. Sometimes they want to meet our politicians. And we really try to be there for them every day. And there's not a day when I'm not in some way in contact with one of the hostage families or with someone representing them. This started on the 8th of October. It's something that I feel very heavy on my heart, because obviously throughout these many months, I've grown very close to these families. I've been to more shiva and more funerals than I hoped I would ever have to go to. I was there when some of the hostages, fortunately, were released, and I know the joy of families who got someone back from captivity. So we try to do everything we can. Because there are still so many hostages left in captivity, obviously it's not enough. And I think the one thing I wish for is that this is really priority number one. I don't think there's anything more important for this country, but also when I think of my fellow Germans who are in captivity, than to bring them home.
The Alternative for Deutschland party has increased its representation in the European Parliament in the recent elections from 11% to 16%. Should Jews in Germany or other places be worried?
Well, before I speak about the AfD, extreme right-wing party, I would say I am worried for Jews in Germany and for Jews all over Europe. Looking at my own country, the fact that we have, again, vibrant Jewish communities, that we have, 140,000 or something Jews in Germany who live, as I said, vibrant lives in their communities. This was never something to be taken for granted. And the fact that there is so much bullying, harassing, threatening them now is extremely painful, and we can't take this seriously enough. I think we all need to react. When I say we, I'm speaking of Germany now. We all need to react. Politics, the police, using and implementing the laws that exist, and in many cases, I think maybe also tightening the laws, as we have done. But you don't fight anti-Semitism, you don't fight anti-Semitic bullies with laws alone. I think you also need every citizen to be a fighter against anti-Semitism. Every citizen must step in when something happens or when something is said that is not right. So that's the one thing. Now the AfD, obviously you can imagine, I hated the result of the European elections in Germany. I was not happy with that. And I would just warn people in Israel to see the AfD in any way, and I know that some people sort of right of center do, as possible allies of this country. These are people, this is a party which has many anti-constitutional elements in it, many real right-wing extremists in it. And this kind of party can never be, I think, an ally to the state of Israel, even though they're trying to portray themselves. So I think that's something that should be kept in mind. Israel's place is very much in the liberal democratic camp. That's where your real friends are. And we have the challenge to try to bring down right-wing extremism again. You will probably never be able to make it disappear, but it should not be at 16%. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something that sets the AfD apart from other right-wing, extreme right-wing parties in Europe. It even had it was expelled from the parliamentary group or had to eject one of its members. You think it's a particular outlier in general trends in Europe?
I mean, we're seeing almost a pan-European trend that right-wing and extreme right-wing parties have grown very strong. Germany is probably not the worst affected country. But on the other hand, we, of all countries, should be more immune to this. We should be more immune to racism than other countries, and certainly to, any kind of neo-Nazi thought, which exists in the AfD. I'm not saying every AfD party member is like that, but this exists in this party. That's an absolute truth. And how it can still exist in the Germany of 2024, I don't know. That's an accusation, of course, against all of us who haven't been able to keep our society free of this.
Nicaragua has brought a case to the International Court of Justice, arguing that Germany had breached the UN Genocide Convention by sending military hardware to Israel. According to some sources, an increase of 30% in 2023. A final ruling could take years, but will this affect Germany's support for Israel in this conflict?
Well, first of all, I don't know if you know, but probably you know, that former Chancellor Angela Merkel came to the Knesset in 2008 and said a very important sentence, and I'll tell you why this is important in this context. She said that the security of the State of Israel was of specific importance to Germany, was a raison d'etat, a reason of state for Germany. This is expressed, among other things, in the fact that for many, many years there's been a military relationship, a security and military relationship between our two countries. And I'm not going to apologize for that. Now, Nicaragua went to the International Court with, as we, I think, very convincingly made clear, a totally distorted view of what we do and how we act in the post-7th of October conflict. And I think our legal representative in the court has really rebuked one by one, no, not rebuked, refuted, I think the word is, sorry, refuted one by one the Nicaraguan arguments. First of all, looking at the military arms sales, which in Germany are subject to more scrutiny than in most other countries. And whenever you greenlight a sale of arms, you look very much specifically at the kind of arms, at the kind of constellation and conditions in the area that you send it to, the possible uses and everything. And we were able to show that also after October 7th, 95% of the arms that were sent to Israel, were green-lighted to Israel, were not sort of, as we say, Kriegswaffen, weapons of war, but were other military equipment, mostly defensive and for training. So, I mean, the facts were wrong on the Nicaraguan side. They completely forgot to mention that we are the single biggest donor to humanitarian efforts in the Palestinian territories, including Gaza. So I think the case is not a very strong one. And I don't want to say much more because, of course, the court has to take its own decisions, but I think we made our case pretty convincingly.
Recently, a few EU member states, such as Spain and Ireland, have formally recognized a Palestinian state. Do you expect this position to be adopted as a common policy at the EU level?
No, I don't, because Germany and some other countries will not follow suit. This is not a question it's very much a question of timing. We, like the Spaniards, like almost all countries in Europe, strongly believe that a sustainable peace solution for this country and for this region will only come with a two-state solution. Yes, I know the word is not liked in Israel. I know that any discourse about a two-state solution has become much more difficult after October 7th. I understand the reasons, but the facts remain. Israel's security, which is of the highest priority to us, will only be sustainably achieved when there is also a Palestinian state, Palestinians living in their own state, with all the security guarantees that will be necessary, and of course, with all the specificities of such a Palestinian state. So this is an objective, a goal of our policy, as it is a goal of other European countries' policies. But we do not believe in merely symbolic steps. We believe this to come as the outcome of a negotiated process. We believe this to be something that also the Israeli side must aim for and must have worked for. This is going to give the whole coexistence of these two states a lot more support than if it's, unilaterally decided very much against the will of the Israeli people. And right now, I don't see that will. I'm not saying that Israel should have a veto, but I'm saying that we should work with Israel so that your country and the Palestinians embark on this very complicated road that will lead to this in the future. And that's how we see it, which is why we're not going to take that step now. And I don't see all of Europe following the Spaniards and the Irish and whoever else.
Perhaps then Germany would like to take a lead with its own initiative to resolve the conflict?
My basic view is that this is not something that can come from outside. All manner of support can come from outside, and encouragement, and guarantees, and economic help, and everything. But the will to overcome this decades-old conflict, to get out of this rut, that has to come, I think, from both Palestinians and Israelis. And then the help, the support will be there from all sides. Europe has long said that it's going to be able to support, the road towards peace, both diplomatically, politically, and also economically. But I personally don't believe in this being instilled into Israel from the outside. I think we need to, I hope that in this country enough people will see that once this war is over, just continuing as before, with the occupation, with the constant increase in settlements, with the legalization of one outpost after the other, this is not going to make this country more secure. And what we want is security for this country, and that's the point from where we argue. And this is the number one condition that must be met in any future peace arrangement. But we believe it can. It's not too late.
Okay, thank you very much.